Okay, welcome back. So we are going to attempt the drawing. If you really feel uncomfortable or unconfident about drawing, then there is a real cheater's way around this, and you literally can trace around the objects while you're there. But that's not you practicing how to draw better. And a lot of the time people really rush it and they don't actually think very carefully about the shapes. They get a bit distorted and they never look quite right. And really the aim is for you to draw. Now, the nice thing about working with negative space, it actually helps you to draw better, believe it or not. It's something that I hadn't learned for a very long time, and I really find it valuable now that I understand it. So whilst we're thinking about the objects that we're drawing that are in front of us, we're also thinking about the space between the objects, and that helps us get things in proportion a little bit better, whether we realise it or not. Also, when you think about it, if you've got a setup like here, like I have, I've got my A4 piece of paper. It's already more or less the same size as the piece of paper I have here. So it is helping me, again, to draw in more proportion. So when I'm starting to draw, I think about where the objects are placed, and I actually think like this. I think about, where does it cut on the page? Obviously, you are seeing a very different angle from what I'm seeing, so it may not look quite right to you. But for me, I've got my spoon that's going across an angle like this, cutting to about halfway for me, or a bit lower, the middle of the page at the edge. So what I'm going to do, I am going to actually draw it in as a faint line. Now I might have to do that a bit darker for you to see. I'm then going to look at this spoon here, which is only, I would say, it's not even a quarter, but it's getting towards a quarter. I'm not saying these are going to be perfect, but I'm starting to work out where everything is being placed or is going to be placed on my page. So I'm also trying to work out the size. You can do that with your pencil, you can do that with your fingers. I do that sometimes so I can get things the correct size. For me, when I'm looking at that spoon, for me, it's actually slightly off the page. This is where you're getting a slightly different angle from me. If I was standing, I would get the same view. So I'm just going to sort of take it from here and start putting everything roughly in place. I'm hoping that you can see this. I'll have to just draw a little bit darker. I've drawn this line going right across. My spoon doesn't come that far across. I've got all this space going on, and I've got a pair of scissors to put in. So I'm thinking about the scissors. Right, it's coming across. They're not the greatest or easiest angle to sort of get in. I'm trying to measure and look at the space going across. So you get really a lot of lines. People say, oh, you draw really messily when you start, miss, and oh no, and people can't cope with it. This is how I work. You might try and work perfectly straight away. I don't advise it. I suggest that you get things in rough first, because if you do, and you do it nice and lightly, then you can rub out your mistakes. You can alter things as you're going along, right? So I've got already lots and lots of little lines going on, and I've got my little tin I want to stick in, which is about that big. It's another way of cheating, isn't it? So I can start getting things in place. I quite liking this. Okay, so it is quite a lot to draw though. It's a bit of a pain in the bottom, but hey ho. I'm trying to get the rest of my scissors in. Okay. And yes, I haven't got in the shapes yet. Doesn't matter. Yeah. But I'm starting to look at the spaces as well between here and here, trying to get them right. And it is damn tricky. Okay. So I don't expect you to get it right straight away. Plus, I'm doing something a bit complicated. I'm starting to think that maybe I should take that away and then maybe put it in a bit further down. It's a bit in the way. See, this is the other thing. You can tweak your compositions as you're going along. Okay. Yeah. So everything, hopefully, I'm going to sort of look. You can hopefully see, no, it's all really faint. So I'm going to go over those lines. So hopefully you'll be able to see this a little bit better. Right, the joys. Or maybe I should actually turn down the lights. Might help a little bit. Maybe everything's shining too brightly. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. Okay, so once you've got everything in place, you want to start thinking about getting all the rest of the details in. That I will show you in the next little clip.